Welcome to today's webinar, Tips from a Sales Expert, 3 Ways to Drive More Revenue. Before we get started, I did want to spend a moment reviewing a couple of housekeeping items for our webinar. You have the option of connecting to our audio either via telephone or mic and speakers. If you experience any technical difficulties, feel free to talk to us through the questions menu at the bottom of your control panel. You can also take advantage of the questions menu to share your thoughts and ask questions. We will be setting aside some time for Q&A at the end of our event. All right, without further ado, I'd like to introduce Megan with InsideView.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We're really excited to have you here to share some actionable tips for how you can start leveraging relevant market intelligence to drive more revenue. We invite everybody to tweet about this webinar using the hashtag shown below on your screen. We're actually going to kick things off with a quick quiz. Relevant emails drive how much more revenue than generic broadcast emails? If you were to take a guess, there's a few options available to you here. Use the poll pop-up that's showing up on your screen to submit your answers. We'll give everybody a minute or two to submit those, and then we'll close out the poll. All right. So it looks like the majority of you guessed 20%, followed by 10, and then 18. According to Jupiter Research, relevant emails actually drive 18 times more revenue than just generic broadcast emails. So we're actually going to take that amazing stat into consideration today, and we'll be sharing ways that you can make your outreach more relevant and productive through using market intelligence. And so with that, I'm excited to welcome Josh Schwartz, our guest speaker today. Josh is an inside sales account manager over at Top Ops. And prior to working at Top Ops, Josh was a top sales performer during his time at both AT&T and American Equity. He carries extensive sales training in solution sales, the Miller-Hyman technique, the Sandler technique, as well as the Challenger method. He was one of the first 10 employees at Top Ops and contributed significantly to building their internal sales process for the sales development, account executive, and customer success teams. We're really excited to have Josh here today, and Josh, I'll let you take it from here.
Megan, thanks so much for that wonderful introduction. I really appreciate it. So just to set the stage correctly right here, and just considering that this webinar is on how we use InsideView to increase your revenue, I just want to share some information about our ideal customer profile, or our ICP. So what our software does is it hooks into Salesforce.com to increase your efficiency and accuracy of your forecast, as well as increase your sales team's win rates. So taking that into consideration, there's definitely some specific details we're looking for in a company as well as their buying team. So obviously we're looking for companies that use Salesforce, that's number one. And then also decision makers or influencers that would be on that purchasing team. So for instance, like a VP of sales, chief revenue officer, or a chief sales officer. So there's actually 3 different products that we use here at Top Ops from InsideView. Enrich helps us fill in the blanks in our CRM where data is missing. So for instance, if we don't know the revenue, the company size, or even just the company's phone number, we can do that. We use Target for our very first or inaugural marketing event called Drive out in New York City. So it actually helped us find the highest concentration of sales VPs, and we chose that location because we had that information from InsideView Target. It's pretty cool. And last thing is sales, of course, which we're going to focus on today, and which one I actually personally use. So there's actually 3 definitely different pieces to the story. First, we definitely have to target the right people and build the right lists, and we want to do that efficiently. And then the next 2, we want to engage them in the right way and connect them in a relevant way. So that's what's on today's agenda. So very first thing, got to find our audience. So how do we get started? There's this old school way. So this is how we first started doing it before we had InsideView, manually looking up companies that use Salesforce.com. So what we're looking at right now is just a job board search on Indeed, and we used to look up like Salesforce admins and do a quick copy and paste so we could drop them into lists like this, which what this is a static watch list that's built inside of InsideView. So as you can see, I'm adding these companies right here, and we can do it up to 200 at a time, which is nice. But it's a little manual, but it definitely helps us find the right companies, and also they're hiring, which is usually a good sign of either growth or organization change, which is a pretty good indicator, of an upcoming purchasing decision. On the other hand, there's a much more efficient way to build these large targeted lists with less manual effort, actually. So in this example, I'm doing a couple different things. Number one, I'm using job functions and levels, mostly because I'm trying to build a list of people who have a keyword of Salesforce. So if you see that title keyword, it says Salesforce in their title. And we're not really going to find a lot of C-levels with Salesforce in their title, so we're not going to include them. The next piece is actually towards the bottom, so right here. And what we're doing is we're trying to find that good contact information because we're trying to build a relevant list. So we want really good info, so we're going to find only those contacts that have email and phone, and also that have a LinkedIn profile. So once again, we're going to get a really good pull out of this list here. So this is the results or an output of that search, and what it did is it actually gave me over 1,000 people that have Salesforce in their title. But what I'm really looking for in this specific situation is the company list. So if we look at here on this part where companies, it actually gave me over 1,000 companies that these people work for. But we want the companies because we're going to dig just a little bit deeper and a little bit wider to find more decision makers. So from here, we're going to export those 1,000+ companies into like an Excel spreadsheet, basically, pull them out 200 at a time, and build those static watch lists. So as you can see, we're getting ready to make a pretty big list here. So next step is actually taking that information and putting it back inside to build that list. And we're going to get really detailed this time with job function, right here, and then also the levels, so right here. But even more than that, I want to enter in title keywords, right? So this part right here. So what we're trying to do is a couple different things, really. But we're trying to load in those keywords so that we can find people or influencers that are in the buying process. So mostly because we know as a company, it's kind of funny, but actually it takes about, 5, maybe 6 people to purchase our software, which is industry average actually for SaaS. But mostly because we can affect everyone with our software, everyone from like a sales rep, VP of sales, your local sales manager, all the way to the C-level suite and the board as well. So we also want to start informing those people of our product with a poll. So last piece of this is making sure we're going to pull only from that watch list. So we don't want to pull from all. I just want to pull from those 200 companies, and I just named it Salesforce Admin Poll. And we're going to continuously pull those 200 over and over again until we've ran out of those 1,000 companies that we pulled on that original poll. So here's the output for that. For our first one, we got just around 200 people and about 159 companies that matched our parameters from our first poll. So once again, they have awesome contact information. So email, phone number, they have a LinkedIn profile. And we can do this 7 more times from that original Salesforce poll that I did. So this puts us back into Salesforce right after this, and we're talking, maybe 30 minutes tops. And this is an extremely targeted list, once again, with awesome contact info, and it didn't take me much time at all to pull this information. Great, so let's jump here. And Megan, go right ahead.
Yeah, so we're going to jump into a quick little poll here. For those of you in sales, on average, how much time do you spend per day researching for the information you need to get in the door with your prospects? Use that poll pop-up to submit your responses. We'll leave it open for a little bit here. So your choices here are 5 to 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes, or over an hour.
I like that one. Research, what's that?
All right, so it sounds like everybody, the majority, either spend 30 to 60 minutes or over an hour. Josh, I'll let you continue here.
Okay, great. So a couple things that InsideView lets me do, but we'll get into that in just a second, but I definitely spend less time every day than that, just to let you guys know. So there's actually over 272,000 major sales triggers that happen every month inside of InsideView. So how does TopOps use that? And more importantly, how do I use that? And how do I put that to use? We look for a couple different things. Some great triggers we look for are actually leadership changes and expansions. So typically, when either of these two things happen, there's either an organizational change, and the company will review tools and be looking for tools like ours to help them with their efficiency and also their accuracy in the forecast. So especially when that trigger for a leadership change is a VP of sales, once again, Chief Revenue Officer, Chief Sales Officer, that organization is going to go public maybe as well, so they're more inclined to look or care about the forecast. So some great actionable information here that we can use without having to really go out and dig. So how do we build these lists is really the question. So in this case, I'm going to actually use an automated CRM watch list like the one that I have highlighted here. Mostly because I don't want to have to continuously update this one, and I'm going to keep it. Actually, I'm going to continue to use it over and over again throughout my process, and it'll automatically update my current opportunities, whether they're open or closed. So how do we build them? It's very simple. So we do two things, really. Number one, I just name it, so close, loss, retry, quarter 3, Q3, and I make the opportunity owner myself, and the stage just contains the one that I'm looking for. So in this case, we have a close, loss, retry stage that we use. So in our business, we consider retry deals ones that have either no decision or that need to be nurtured, or multiple other situations actually. And what happens is InsideView monitors the account names that are associated with those opportunities and automatically sends me these, which is daily summary alert emails. So instead of coming in and doing all that research, I get it sent to me directly, which is fantastic. It saves me time, and it's automated, which is fantastic, and it sends me relevant information as well. So it's actually one of the first things I do when I get into work each day, or on my phone when I'm riding the elevator up as well. So I'm starting to think about how can I craft a relevant message to wake up these opportunities based off the information that they're sending me, once again, like leadership change or those organizational shifts. So relevant information, that's actually our next subject. So how do we connect with relevance? So very simple, a couple stats here. Good start. 92% of executives actually don't respond to generic email blasts that they're sent every day, and they're also just swamped in. So not only that, but your chance of getting that ever feared unsubscribe goes way up when you start using generic email blasts. Also, untailored sales pitches decrease your chance of making a sale. So if you've ever read or studied The Challenger, then you should know, then you have to, absolutely have to, tailor your message so that you can teach and take control of the conversation, help you make a sale. So back into the build. So once again, just kind of rehashing this point, those automatic CRM watch lists, I'm building a close, loss, retry, same fields. We also do this with open opportunities as well, and we actually use TopOps to help us with a relevant aspect, which is right here. So what we can see in here, we're just creating a filter, close, loss, retry. We have our loss reason, right? So we're going to filter down just a little bit deeper. So example, a couple of the ones that we'd be looking for are things like no decision, company was too small, or we lost the sponsor. You can see we're actually building that in this slide right here. And so that helps me get really relevant. And then here's the output before we export that into that InsideView watch list. So simple stuff. So here's some of the great emails that we got from those relevant triggers that they sent us. So right here we can see, hey Jennifer, notice you guys got a new VP of sales. Congrats on bringing someone over from Salesforce. I know he's probably still getting his chair warm. Will you give me a heads up when the best time is to try and contact him? So this actually did a couple things to help me reconnect with her, and it actually woke up the opportunity, and we continued the evaluation process. So anytime we can do that, it's always good. Another one. So Stuart, hey, congrats on your success of your expansion of your team. I just read the article and felt compelled to say hello. Have a great weekend. So these are pretty simple emails, nothing too pushy, but what it does is it helps me connect with relevance once again. And if you actually look at the subject line up here, we have congrats, right? So he was more inclined to open this up. Everybody likes to talk about themselves or hear about themselves. And once again, we woke up the opportunity to continue the evaluation process and got him back on the line, which is very important. So internally, with these tactics, we've actually been able to wake up about 10%. Obviously, we like to get better, but 10% is better than 0%, and it helps us really re-engage with these opportunities and these contacts as well. So just quick recap. So we got a target, right? So we got to identify those high potential leads by building lists on custom criteria. So it's very efficient, and then we get awesome contact information out of that. To engage, it helps me save time. Once again, I don't have to scour the internet, and it just automates those and sends them to me. And then I can use those triggers to connect with the relevance and send out those personalized messages that are more likely to get a response. So great information here. And Megan?
Awesome. Thanks so much, Josh. Everybody, Josh mentioned earlier that TopOps is using InsideView solutions across a range of their sales and marketing initiatives. If you'd like to chat with us any more about the three that they're using, InsideView Enrich, which helps them to enrich new leads as they come in, InsideView Target, which helps them execute targeted marketing campaigns by building strategic lists, or InsideView for Sales, which Josh has walked us through today, and we actually have a free trial for everyone to participate in. Feel free to reach out to us. Send us a note in the chat window or email Alex Taylor. We'll chat out that email address to everybody so you can use that to learn more. And at this point, we had several questions come in during Josh's walkthrough of those 3 steps. If you have any other questions, take a moment now to submit them in that questions panel. Also, feel free to tweet us using the hashtag and the handle shown there. So we'll open up for Q&A here. First question, Josh, it looks like you've integrated InsideView solutions closely with your CRM. We did have a question, several come through actually, if InsideView integrates with other CRMs. I do want to let everybody know that while Josh focuses his work in Salesforce, InsideView does integrate with all the major CRMs. But Josh, what was that process like? Was it a pretty easy setup process for you integrating that within Salesforce?
Yeah, so 10 to 15 minutes. All you have to do is install the little widget as well, and then align just a few fields together, and that's pretty much it. So it's very simple, nothing too hard. And then, like you saw, I'll be setting up the watch list. Those are also very simple. I think anybody can do it. I mean, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, so if I can do it, then you guys should be able to do that.
Awesome. And another question: how often are you going through this process to refill your pipeline?
Oh, good one. So we actually have part of our product that is called Top Leads, which tells us when we're running short or when we need to fill in certain parts of our funnel. So we use that to let us know internally, hey, we're going to miss, we're going to run short on our forecast. We dump in X amount of leads, and we need to get this many to either MQL or SQL in this amount of time. So that's how we decide when we do those big dumps like that.
Perfect. Another great question. Any other tools that you incorporate into your process in addition to InsideView?
Yeah, we love, obviously, TopOps. We drink our own Kool-Aid. And then we're just getting signed up with DemoChimp. We're almost done with that. We've been using Connect and Sell, for a long time. It works really well with us. And Yesware. Love Yesware. Perfect.
Another question that, the premise of the product that you walked through really shows a lot of company updates. Is that the whole way that you're using the InsideView product? What other value do you get other than just the company updates? Yeah, so obviously I love using watch lists. It helps me pull and it helps me get company updates. I think kind of like how we mentioned at the beginning, we use 2 other InsideView products. So
helps us with marketing for Target as well.
Perfect. And just to elaborate on that a little bit as well, InsideView for Sales, as Josh kind of walked through, we provide company updates, but we also go through and allow you to fill your pipeline, particularly through those two products that Josh mentioned before, the Lead Enrich and the Target, to fill your pipeline with leads that may not already exist in your database. So it's both a data solution as well as a market intelligence solution.
Absolutely.
Another question was that came through is how accurate are the phone numbers and emails that InsideView has in the database? So I can elaborate a little bit on that for everybody. InsideView has a unique MTV approach, which is multi-source, triangulated, and validated. And basically what that means is we're coming from 3 different angles to ensure that the data is consistently triangulated across multiple sources on a daily real-time basis. So we have a lot more information about how accurate our data is on our website, and you can go to insideview.com to learn more about that.
Yeah, and that's why when we go down in and build those lists as well, that we do email, phone number, and like LinkedIn profile. We can also do like my Twitter or some other social medias. That way it's more accurate as well.
Yeah, exactly, and that helps with a lot of that triangulation piece. Another question came through regarding cost, and so we'll follow up. If you're interested in learning more about pricing information, we'll follow up with you individually, and we can provide some of that. Particularly, it looks like the question came through regarding small business, so we're happy to share more information about our small business pricing. And we'll give everybody one more moment to submit your questions. Otherwise, again, feel free to chat us in that window if you'd like to learn more, or email Alex Taylor. We'll follow up with everybody with a webinar recording as well as the slide deck. And if you'd like to refer back to that, you can expect an email from us in the next day or so. And it looks like that wraps up all the questions. So, Josh, thank you so much for walking through and sharing with us how you're integrating InsideView and market intelligence to make your outreach more effective and drive more revenue. We appreciate everybody joining us today, and we hope you all have a great day.
It's a pleasure. Thanks.